I tell people, what are like those top 3 or 4 things that you really want to be the best at? Because like if we start naming all the things, right? Like I want to be the best business owner, I want to be the best mom, I want to be the best wife, I want to be the best cook, I want to be the chauffeur, I want to be the best in my health. Like, I mean, you can't be the best at everything. You're not Superman, you're not Superwoman. It's impossible. And there's only so many hours in the day to master everything, right? So, how about we choose the top 3 or 4 things that if those things were in alignment, and if we said that we were becoming the master in those things, would that bring you peace? Would that bring success to you? Would you feel like you were successful?
Welcome to GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, aka the Going North Podcast, where authors from around the world help you realize that success is tangible. You'll leave with at least one new piece of inspiration or information to help you keep going north every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Now let's get on with the show. Today's episode is sponsored by the GoingNorthPodcast.com shop. And if you head over to the wonderful website, cop some merchandise, take a selfie with you rocking the gear, shoot it to yours truly, the host, dombrightman@gmail.com, and I will give you a shout out on the show as well, and heck, even tag you on social media as well. So feel free to check out some of the good old merch on GoingNorthPodcastShop.com. Now let's get on with some super special, awesome content. And today on GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, we got another super special, awesome human for you today who is going to be dropping by on the Going North podcast, where we highlight wonderful folks who put pen to paper and decide to join the business of immortality. And I got to thank my good buddy, Mr. Robert Foster, who is also in the great country of the U.S. of A, for hooking me up for this wonderful lady right here. Let me tell you a bit about her. She's a lovely wife. She's also a wonderful mom of 3. And to make it even better and not butter, she's a speaker, mentor, influence marketing strategist, social media lead generation expert, and trainer to thousands. You heard that right, folks. Thousands of home business owners across the world. So let's give it up for Miss CH herself, the wonderful, charismatic, and heavenly Cari Higham. How you doing today, Cari?
Doing great, Dom. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, thank you, Robert. I had an awesome show with him just a few weeks ago. And the second I checked out your show, I was like, this is my jam right here.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a jam and jelly all at the same time.
They go the best together right there. I throw in some peanut butter, a couple slices of bread, and you've got heaven.
That's right. So any favorite flavors of jam or jelly?
Homemade strawberry. Hands down, homemade strawberry jam is a favorite.
So is that like a pun, since, hands down and homemade? You gotta have your hands down sometimes when you're making things.
I guess it could be.
That's right, folks. You thought you're going to learn how to build a 6-7 figure business, but nah, folks. Talking about jam and peanut butter.
We're teaching you how to make peanut butter and jelly tonight.
That's right. PB&J. It makes the folks in the UK mad somewhat. Oh, but hey, it ain't about making folks overseas mad. It's about helping folks around the world become the best versions of themselves ever. And heck, I've heard you had quite a long journey with you and your lovely husband for the past, my goodness, 13 years now, I think.
Yes. Yep. 13 years we've been doing this. It's crazy to think, what time flies. They say time flies when you're having fun. The first few years were not very fun. So it was like this long drawn out first couple of years, and then I figured it out, and then it became fun.
There you go. So you finally found the metaphorical gym. Finally figured it out. That's right. That's right indeed. Had all the figures. That's right. The abs developed. That's right. The waist, and then everything else. That's right. That's right, indeed. And then also, if I'm not mistaken, part of that figuring it out piece was actually having, if I'm not mistaken, 13 jobs. And that was just you with the 13, right? During early in the marriage, right?
Oh, yes, I mean, probably more than 13. I did it all, Dom. I did it all. When I look back, I by the time I was the age of 24, I knew what I didn't want to do. I had no idea what I did want to do. All I knew was that I hated having a boss. I hated having people tell me what to do, and I wanted to make a lot of money. That was really like in a nutshell. I wanted to be I guess, the master in chief of my own time. And entrepreneurship kind of fell into my lap. I guess you could say I was a born and bred entrepreneur. From a very young age, I had a problem with authority.
That's right. That's right, indeed. And I thought we were past the peanut butter and jelly, but nah, born and bred entrepreneur. That's right, indeed.
More bread, more bread. We'll see how many bread puns we can throw in here tonight.
That's right. Bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. That's right, indeed. And I heard you found out that it's actually buttered down the road and finally caved in and joined a network marketing company.
Yes, a kicking and screaming at that. When I first heard network marketing, my husband was the one that kind of brought it home. And I was just like, no way. No way am I doing one of those things. My dad had done network marketing when I was growing up. He had joined a couple companies, and through no fault of his own, he was actually a skilled recruiter. He had built teams, but he got a bitter taste in his mouth. A couple of the companies he was with, they were private, and then they sold and went public. Compensation plan changes. A lot of people get a bitter taste in their mouth for those reasons, and my parents were one of them. And so when I saw network marketing, I was like, no way am I doing one of those things. All I had heard was the bad. I hadn't heard any of the good. But at the time, my husband had been laid off for the second time in our marriage. It was impossible for him to find a new job. So he was a dental technician by trade. He did crowns, veneers, bridges. If you had something wrong with your mouth, he could go in, fix it, make it pretty. The dentist would send him their work, and then he would send it back. Just perfect. He was very skilled, like a skilled artist when it came to whole mouth restorations. And when we had been married, this was 2013, mid 2013, there was a machine that was invented that replaced him, where dentists could do their own crowns in-house. It was a lot cheaper for them to buy a machine than send their work to an artist like my husband. And here's the thing, I can tell you right now, the machines didn't do as good of a job as sending it to my husband, but because everyone at the time was trying to, cut costs, my husband ended up, going from making an almost six-figure income to just a few $100s a week. And, we had built a lifestyle together. We were not the best with money at the time. And so when he was laid off, at the same time, I had opened my own nail salon. I was doing nails from my house. My nail clientele got cut in half because of a few layoffs that happened around here in our area. And we went from living the dream, the American dream, to suddenly living the American nightmare. We lost our home. The only reason they didn't take my car was because I parked it at my parents' house and they didn't know where to find it. We left with our baby and the clothes on our back pretty much. And at the time it was, I saw my husband kind of at a point where, he was like really questioning his self-worth, right? Like going from like making really good money to all of a sudden not being it. He couldn't even get hired on at like fast food because he was overqualified, believe it or not. And so
Wow.
it was one of those instances where I like to say God Almighty, the universe, whatever you want to say it, was humbling us enough to change course because he saw something great in us that we didn't see at the time. And so network marketing fell into our laps. And like I said before, it was my husband that brought it home. I wanted nothing to do with it. But when I saw his eyes light up, when I saw him, catch the vision, because he really was the one that caught it before me, of being able to build residual income, right? You do something once, you get paid for it over and over again. That's what caught his attention. And so right as we got started in network marketing, we were living in my mom's basement. He ended up getting hired on driving for Pepsi. He started driving truck. And so it went from, hey, we're going to do this network marketing thing to you're going to do this network marketing thing, because he was working 16-hour days. And so I was the one that got started. And Dom, I'll tell you what, I talked to hundreds and hundreds of people, every single person that I knew those first 6 months. And I didn't recruit a single person, not a team member, not a customer. And I was frustrated in those first 6 months. And I went to a mentor and I was like, listen, this is not working. What am I doing wrong? And he's all like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just not talking to the right people. And so you need to go where the people are. And so I come from a really teeny little itty bitty town in the middle of Utah. There are more cows here than people. So when he says you got to go talk to more people, I was like, there's no people around. And so I was driving literally the next 18 months after that. I was driving pretty much all over the western half of the United States, prospecting people at malls, Walmarts, the Las Vegas Strip, like you name it. If there was a crowd of people and they couldn't run, I was there. And I was hunting them down. Like the people that give network marketing and MLM a bad name, that was me. I was that person. And after 2 years, I was done. Like I was ready to quit. I told my husband, like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep leaving our little boys. I had gone from one little boy to 2 little boys. They were both in diapers. I was leaving them with grandma because we were sleeping in our car on the Las Vegas Strip. Like that's not safe enough for a baby, right? We couldn't afford a hotel room. Like, you hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom when I ended up moving into my mom's basement. Give it 2 years and I was like rock bottom of the rock bottom, because I was trying to get this business thing working. I was spending way more money a month than I was making. And I was frustrated. I was ready to quit. And I knew that I needed to figure out something different. And that was when I told my husband, I was like, we've got to figure out how to do this online. And so we started, I guess you could say, stalking a couple different leaders that we knew were actually growing their teams online, that were having success. And that was when it all clicked. We went, it was a short 10, 11 months after that. I retired my husband. We shot our check to multiple 6 figures per month multiple 6 figures per year, about $20,000 a month we were making at the time. And from then on out, it's been my husband and I from home working together. I've since retired out of network marketing, because now what I love is helping others that were in my situation. I love coaching. I love training. I wrote a book, really just pouring my heart and soul into teaching people that are hungry how to get out of their basement, how to climb out of that rock bottom from the rock bottom that they're in. Because I did it one step at a time, and I now know how to teach people how to do that. And so that's me in a nutshell, right? That's my story. That's how I'm here.
It's a great story indeed. Great story indeed. It's actually kind of funny how the bait and switch happened. Husband's like, hey, buddy, how's it going, honey? I got this new idea. Like, hey, we're going to freaking make millions. We're going to recruit people. We're going to make a wonderful, wonderful conglomerate of awesome. Sweet, let's go. And now I know it's like, oh, I got to drive some trucks now. And it's like, oh, when you go get them, buddy. It's like, oh, shit.
That was exactly what it was. And here's the thing. I wasn't even the one that wanted to do it. But you know what? That man, I tell people he's the one man that could get me to pretty much do anything. But you know what? Yeah, I don't regret it. Not a single thing. I don't regret the mistakes I made, because if I hadn't made those mistakes, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to relate to people that are going through what I went through. And even that bait and switch, like knowing that feeling of, okay, I guess I'm doing this. right? Like you said, uh, just being able to coach and mentor others on how to handle it maybe a little bit better and how to actually build a long lasting sustainable business from the get go instead of, it being 2 years from now and you still stuck in the same situation that you're in.
Ah, that's fabulous indeed. You're so darn right about that. Set it up right from the get go. So, what do you think folks get wrong when it comes to really getting into business when it comes to that foundational piece?
Foundation is everything in business. It really is. And the problem that I see, not just network marketing, but entrepreneurs in general, is when they first get out, they just go hard promoting, promoting, promoting. They're hitting up friends, they're hitting up family, they're messaging strangers on social media, and all they're doing is promote, promote, promote. They're not taking the time to one, figure out like who is that perfect person that even wants whatever it is that you're selling, right? And number two, how do we actually build some influence so that selling becomes easy, basically? That first step in understanding who that perfect person is for whatever it is that you have to offer is probably the number one foundational piece for marketing in general. And so many entrepreneurs think that they can just skip it because they think, oh, everybody needs my products, right? If it's, let's use like skincare as an example. They're like, oh, everybody has skin. Everybody needs the skincare that I'm selling. That might be true. Everybody has skin, but I know a whole lot of people that don't give a flying rat's behind about their skin, right? So it becomes a matter of, it's not just that they need it, they have to want it, and they also have to be able to afford it, right? It has to be a want for them in order for them to be able to whip out their checkbook and write you a check for it, right? Or their card, or however it is, Venmo, or however it is that everybody's paying for things now, right? And so it's first understanding and identifying who is that person that's perfect for my product, service, opportunity, whatever it is I'm promoting. Where do they hang out? How do I find them? How do I connect with them? Because in business, new blood is the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have new people, constantly seeing your message, seeing your stuff, you're stuck. And in fact, you're not just stuck, you're going backwards. So how do we connect with those people and have that, a steady flow of new prospects seeing whatever it is that we're promoting? And then the next foundational piece is, how do we build some influence? How do we build know, like, and trust? I teach people how to do it a lot through social media. Social media, I think it's safe to say it's not going anywhere, right? And majority of people spend easily 75% of their day looking at a screen, 75% of their day. So how do you get where they're looking? Social media is one of the best places to do that. And the great thing about social media is, by leading with a little bit of value, educating, entertaining, letting people get to know who you are, being, your true authentic self, really leading with like how a product can help somebody, by building that influence, that know, like, and trust. When it comes time to promote, if you think about it, you have the right people that are looking at it at the right time. You've built some influence and they are asking what's in it for them. If you can tell them what's in it for them, at that point, you're not selling. When you promote something, it's not a matter of if you have people that are going to buy what you want. It's a matter of how many and how fast they're going to be jumping in. Those two things are easy, the foundation. And if people, the problem that is that so many people, they think, well, if I'm not just going out and hammering and promoting and, just telling people to buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, no one's going to buy. When in actuality, what they're doing is they're repelling all those people with just constant promotion. Let's take a step back. Let's connect with the right people. Let's build a relationship with those people. And then when it comes time to promote, just through basic sharing, right? Sharing through content on social media, whether it's video, it could be posting, it could be whatever. At that point, it doesn't matter. You're going to have people that want it because you've done you've done the foundational steps first.
That's right, that hot fire right there. That's right indeed. New blood is the lifeblood of your business. That's what I'm talking about. That hot
Absolutely.
fire. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. You can't just be like the early Carrie, where just chloroforming people and have them lean on the pen. You can't just do that.
If I could find chloroform, I probably would have, Dom. I probably That's how desperate I was to find somebody to buy what I had.
That's right. Just going ultra old school. It's like, hey, buddy. Oh, hey. You just like you look a little too excited there. How you doing? Yes, I got this product to sell you. You want to come to this party? Like, I don't know. I'm not a partying guy. Oh, you're a partying person, indeed. But yeah, like definitely solid right there. Cause and definitely knowing who your target market is and knowing where they hang out. Cause I mean, it's so true. It's like, hey, you can't really go to like a dentist's office and be like, "Hey, buddy, yeah, I got this bourbon to sell you. How you doing?" I mean, you could, but it'd be weird. It'd be like, "What?"
Really though, really, you think about it, like if you if you're just going out and talking to anybody and everybody, it is like, selling meat to a vegetarian or trying to sell, alcohol to a Mormon. Like it's just not going to happen, right? They're not going to buy because they're not your target market. It's not they don't even believe that they need whatever it is you have to offer at that point. So do your homework, do a little bit of research, actually treat your business like a business, like marketing professionals do. And it's crazy how you start to get those results.
Oh yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. So, what helps you to define your target market? Because like so many people have trouble with that.
Yes, so many people do. So, in my book, I actually have a chart that I give people, but it's basically identifying what are the pains and the problems that those people are going through. How does your specific product solve those pains and problems, right? What fears do they have? How can your product, opportunity, whatever it is you're promoting, service, help those people? Next is identifying what are those dreams and desires that they have, and how can your product get them from like those fears that they have to their dream, right? How can they get them from, the pains that they're feeling to the desires that they have? When you can identify those two things and then identify like what language your target market speaks, you know, because each one speaks a specific language. You take a look at like weight loss products, somebody who is trying to lose weight, there are certain terms, phrases that when you say them, they know exactly what you're talking about, right? Like, weighing yourself, uh, cutting inches, shrinking your waist, like certain terms, phrases like that, that people want, people who are actively searching for a way to lose weight. When they see it, they identify that, hey, this is for me and what I'm looking for. After that, it's also like doing the actual like physical or demographics basically of those people. Where do they live? Who do they follow? Where are they hanging out on social media? And really doing those type of things. And like I said, inside my book, I actually have a chart that helps people break that down for their specific target market so that they can get crystal clear. Because like I said earlier, that is the foundational piece. One of the foundational pieces of marketing is understanding who you're talking to. Because when you understand who you're talking to, and you not just understand them, but like you deep in your core, like understand those pains, problems, fears that they have, and you offer a solution, man, I don't know how many people have seen, a post of mine or have watched a Facebook Live or a live video on, another platform, and they've reached out and they've said, I feel like you were talking to me. When really all I've done is done my homework in this chart where I have it, sitting here next to my desk, and I'm just popping in phrases, right? Like I know what those people are going through. I've done my homework. I've done my research. When I talk to them, I'm also speaking from experience, right? My experiences from others, and I'm telling stories, and through those stories, like people are just like, man, like this chick really gets it. She gets me. She knows what I'm going through. When you can build influence like that, like I said earlier, it's not a matter of if you're going to have people buy what you have.
Definitely can say that again. And that's powerful too, right there. So folks definitely need to get that wonderful chart indeed. And is it offered anywhere else in like your course with you and your hubby as well, or is that just something folks need to snag the book for?
Yeah, so they can snag the book. And actually, if you go to yougotthisgirl.com or yougotthisgirlbook.com, if you head there, there's actually a spot where you can connect with my husband and I on, our different social media platforms that we're on as well. Our website, whitandcarihigham.com. We're kind of everywhere. Once you see us, we're going to be popping up everywhere because we got this social media thing down.
That's right. They got it down like a donut pound indeed. That's right indeed. They got it down. That's right indeed. That's right. It's down all the way to Chinatown, Daddy O. That's right. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so since you've been on these wonderful podcasts, this is probably your first one yourself, is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often when you're on the guest side of the game on these shows?
A question that I wish that people would ask more is like, how do you do it all? Because I like wait for that question to come because so many people they're like, oh, you're a mom of three, you're running, a multiple seven-figure business and brand. I'm very active in my community. They're like, how do you do it all? And here's the thing, and like if we can get like really real, you can't do it all, and so many times I have people come to me like, how do you balance work and life and all these things? And I hate to break it to you, but there's no such thing as work life balance. Anytime you want to move forward, anytime you want to reach a new goal or you want to stretch yourself or dive into something new, you are going to feel out of balance. It's just the way that it is. And how I've found I'm not necessarily able to maintain balance, but that I'm able to maintain what's the word that I'm looking for? It just left my mind, but basically able to maintain peace, I guess, for myself is by staying in alignment of that person that I want to be. And so I tell people, what are like those top 3 or 4 things that you really want to be the best at? Because like if we start naming all the things, right? Like I want to be the best business owner, I want to be the best mom, I want to be the best wife, I want to be the best cook, I want to be the chauffeur, I want to be the best in my health. You can't be the best at everything. You're not Superman, you're not Superwoman. It's impossible. And there's only so many hours in the day to master everything, right? So how about we choose the top 3 or 4 things that if those things were in alignment, and if we said that we were becoming the master in those things, would that bring you peace? Would that bring success to you? Would you feel like you were successful? And for most people, it's yes. And so for me, to give you an example, there are 4 areas that I focus on every single day. And it's only those 4. If something falls outside of those 4 things, I say no, because it's not helping me become that person that I want to be. And those are my faith, my family, my business, and my health. Those 4 things to me are above and beyond anything else in my life. My faith, I'm nothing without my faith. My family, they are my purpose and my reason for doing everything that I do. If I don't take care of myself and my health, nothing is, like none of these things are going to be taken care of. And that last thing, my business, that's my purpose. It's what I get excited to get up and do every morning. It's how I'm giving back to the world. It's how I'm making my mark, leaving a legacy for that family that I love so much. And so for me, it's one of the biggest things that really changed my life. And it happened 2 years ago was I learned how to say no. I learned that less is more. I learned how to say no, and not just say no, but I learned that no is a full sentence. And I can tell someone no and not have to feel the need to justify or make excuses for the reason I'm saying no. Just quite simply, if it doesn't fuel those top 4 things in your life, 3 or 4, you choose whatever is easy for you to focus on each day. If it doesn't fuel those things, if you learn to say no, you are free. You are happier. You will be healthier. You will build deeper, meaningful relationships with the people that matter to you most because you're intentional about where you put that time.
Woo! That's right. She's preaching, y'all. That's right. Today she's preaching,
I know.
y'all.
I'll get off my that soapbox. Unless he asks me a new question, then I'll just pop it over here under my feet again.
Oh, nah, keep the soapbox. That's right, folks. You need to be cleaned up in here, y'all. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Right, indeed. You need that soap and the deodorant. That's right. Maybe some perfume and cologne, too. That's right, indeed. That's right. The funk will not live here. That's right, indeed.
We don't believe in being stinky here, that's for sure.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Stinky will leave you feeling like a Twinkie. But it won't be sweet. Oh, man. But yes, indeed. I love what you said there about the whole four wonderful areas because that's so darn true. I mean, faith, family, your business, and of course your health too. And I'm glad you put health in there because that's one of the main things that sometimes we tend to forget. It's like, oh, I'll catch up on sleep later. It's like, oh, I'll just
Yep.
caffeine my way through this and power my way through it. Or some say white knuckle their way through it. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, nah, I still gotta take care of that health, especially in the a long run too, because it tends to come back and
Oh,
haunt
it'll
you. And
catch up with you. Yep, that's for sure.
that's right, indeed. Bad health is like a baseball. That's right. It'll catch up to you. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That was definitely going in the one-liner book. But my goodness, I love also what you said about the whole work-life balance thing because it's like, hey, since you're an entrepreneur, I mean, that's basically your whole life right there. I can remember, I think, some of your past interviews where you mentioned how you and your husbands be doing webinars, and it's like, hey, nah, we're authentic here. Our baby's crying, like, hey, we're gonna bounce the baby on her lap here, and
Yep.
and everything like that, and just encouraging folks like, hey, this is authentic in real life here. This
It
is not
is.
me throwing the word out.
Absolutely, it is real life. And the thing is so many people they feel like, oh, I've got to, shove my kids in a closet or whatever, while I do this video or while I do this, while I work on my content. But if more people would just allow their kids to, my kids are usually running amok or behind me during videos, when I'm on coaching calls, my kids are right there. And I want that. I want it because I want my people to be able to see that, that person that I'm coaching or the people that are watching that video to say, okay, I can do this. I can be a mom and put my kids first. I can be present and helping my kids and still build a wildly successful business. And I also want my kids to see it. I want my kids to see that, you know, mom's reaching for her goals. My mom, my mom kicks ass. Like that's what I want them to be able to say, right? Like I want them to look back and be like, my mom wasn't perfect because I'm definitely not, but my mom loved us and she was a badass. I want them to be able to say that. And if we are constantly, shooing our kids away, they're not seeing it. They're not seeing the hard work that you're having to put into it. They're not seeing that, anything worth having is going to take that, that drive and that passion and that desire. And so absolutely, and the thing is where we work from home, it can be really easy for work to consume your life. And I say that from experience where, when my husband first retired, when I first retired him out of Pepsi and we were uh, growing our business every day, there were times he went from working 16 hours a day at Pepsi where all of a sudden he was working 16 hours a day here at home. He had to learn that it's okay to not have to work 24/7, right? Because he was used to working. He was used to going to work, coming home, eating dinner, going to sleep, waking up and doing it all again. And so it took a little bit of rewiring his mind that way to think, okay, I'm going to work for, 4 hours today. And then I'm going to go throw the baseball with my son. I'm going to go, watch a movie with my daughter, whatever that may be. And so maintaining those boundaries by being intentional with your time and understanding that those relationships, yes, your business is important, but chances are any person is going to say that their family matters to them more. Make sure that they see that you are making the time for them, because anything that's a priority, you will make time for.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's true indeed. That's right. Indeed, that's right. Bringing them into the forefront. It's like, hey, it's family for real, y'all. That's right. Hey, we don't believe in pleather jackets here, y'all. That's right. Indeed. These are the badass parents over here, y'all. That's right. Indeed. All the arse will be kicked. That's right.
There have been plenty of times where I give my kids the look, because there are times where it's like, okay, I do need it to be quiet for 2 seconds. And, I'm giving them the mom look where I'm like, be quiet. Like I'm muting my mic and I'm like, stop it. I'm giving them the cut sign with my hand. Quit beating each other up. 2 more minutes and then you can have at it.
That's right. That's right, indeed. That's right. Be like, hey, 2 minutes, y'all. Come on now. Mommy handling business now for real. It's cute at first, but now it's getting a little crazy. About to put you in an actual pyramid if y'all don't stop now. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, with all of the wonderful folks you've helped to build 6 to 7 figure businesses and really conquer their fears and their self doubt to create their own versions of success, what would probably be one of the greatest failures in your life that actually led to you having your greatest success in life?
Oh, that's a good question. That's the first time anybody's ever asked me that. It's so hard too to answer it, because I've learned to not look at failure as failure, right? It's the only time failure happens is when you quit something, right? To me, and so rather than saying failure, I would say setback. There has been times, and one time in particular, you know, huge setback for me was during that time when I was leaving my kids to go and grow my business. I was, like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, I was spending hours and hours, days away from my children, out prospecting other areas. And like I said, I was sleeping in my car. My husband and I were, there were times we were sleeping in a tent, like on the side of the road. I mean, it was just not a situation where we wanted to bring our children. We feared for their safety, right? And so, we left my children with grandparents, babysitters a lot. And so, like I said, I don't look at that like it's a failure anymore, but it's a setback for me because I missed out on a lot of time with my 8-year-old in particular. He was about a year old when we first got started. And so you think about the milestones, those big moments that happened between the ages of 1 and 3, because it was 2 years that I was building my business that way. I can't get that back. I was being sent video. I was watching him grow up a lot through videos on my phone. I was talking to him. I mean, a 3-year-old is only going to talk to you on the phone for so long, right? And so, it was just, I look back at that and my heart hurts. And so, because I did miss out on a lot of those moments. And so, one of my biggest passions and my biggest driving forces is helping others not have to give up those moments, right? Like I look at that person that I was, and I was doing everything that I was because I wanted a better life for that little boy, right? And I've created it. I have. But if you were to tell me, was it worth it? I don't know if it was necessarily worth missing out on those moments. I wish, if I could have gone back, I wish that I would have figured out a way to have both during that time, because in my limiting belief, I fully believed that I had to give it up in order to create the life that I have now. After those first 2 years, when I started growing online and I started setting those boundaries, because I said enough was enough, it led to me being able to grow the business that I have, multiple 7-figure business in about 7 years that it took. So yeah, it was 7 years, including those 2 years. It was 5 years from when I finally said enough was enough. And I started really, hammering down on effective strategies to grow. But it's not worth it. I'm here to tell you, it's not worth missing out on those moments with those people that matter to you most, because your kids are growing. I mean, there's no stopping it. I have a business partner that I was working with at the time who she's about 10 years older than I am. So she has older kids, right? Hers are a lot older. And during those 2 years when we were growing our business that way, her daughter had made the drill team her senior year. And she missed, I think she only made it to one or two of her drill team competitions and dances the entire year. And still to this day, her daughter, it's like a wedge between her and her daughter, because her daughter looks at it as, you put your business before me. Right. And so it's not worth it. Right. Even if it takes you an extra year or two, even 5 years, right? Like to get where you want to be. Don't miss those important moments in your children's life. Don't miss those important moments with your spouse. I know firsthand, in September of last year, my husband spent 2 weeks on a ventilator, 8 weeks in the hospital. He almost died 7 times. Like, I look at that and I'm like, I'm so grateful that I created those boundaries, because if I had lost my husband, I could honestly say that I had time with my husband. Most people don't have that. And when we throw a business in on top of it, especially, if we're working a 9 to 5, or, we're trying to anytime we're trying to build something new, it's going to take time, and it's going to take effort, and it's going to take resources, and it's going to take the division of attention in order to grow it. That's absolutely true. But if we set boundaries so that the people that matter to us most know that they are still a priority, and they know that you love them, and they know that you're still spending time with them, it is absolutely worth it for you for that goal of yours to take just a little bit longer. Let's set the reasonable expectation so that we don't have to miss out on those moments.
Yeah, that's right, indeed. That's right. I just preaching y'all, indeed. That's right, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yep, definitely precious moments. Like just creating those wonderful memories. Like make sure you create them and try to really make as many as you can. And yeah, because that time you just don't get it back. It's just don't get it back. It's like once
No,
you, yeah, it's like if you make enough money, you can have different set of problems that allow you to have more time with family and friends. But hey, it's like still, it's like just finding that proper way to hopefully have more time with the family. Definitely indeed, definitely indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. Well, a fun question I've been loving to drop on folks in recent history, even though, my God, it's been 4 months. It's been 4 months since I've been dropping this on people. So I guess it ain't too recently. uh, yeah, gotta love clarity. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, you're definitely coming back on this show. So if you're a wonderful book,
I would love it.
oh man. So if your wonderful book you got this girl was a food item, what would it be and why?
Heavens. These questions are sending me through a loop. Okay, a food item. A food item. I got this. It's going to be a Thanksgiving feast. How about that? You've got Thanksgiving dinner. And the reason I say that is because I don't know how many, personal development books I've picked up hoping to get a little meat and potatoes, right? Like someone to actually not just teach me, but really like show me in a book, right? In that pamphlet that I've picked up, like how to do something. I wanted to give you that meat and potatoes, right? I wanted you to have everything you needed to get started in creating that, 6-7 figure business, and still having that lifestyle that you want, creating those boundaries, setting up that DMO, understanding who your target market is. There's so many, I'm talking about, success being a choice, I'm when it comes to like limiting beliefs for a lot of people around money, and like, being successful or being rich is a sin, I've heard it all, Dom, and I wanted it to be easy to read, like something that someone could sit down and consume very quickly just like Thanksgiving dinner, but also at the same time, leave you feeling full, satisfied, and like you know exactly what you need to do to move forward in making this dream, this business, this passion, whatever it is for you, a reality.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right. It's a turkey with all the gravy, y'all. That's right. And she's gonna stuff you, y'all. You will be stuffed, baby. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Heck, can't forget about more wonderful dinner rolls, indeed, because Carrie
More
is on a
bread.
roll.
We got to throw
That's
in
right.
more bread right there. Rolls are made of bread, Dom.
Because you need bread to get ahead. Hot dog are on a roll.
No pun intended. Or is there? Is it? Is it intended?
Oh, don't worry. 99% of the puns here are intended. That's right, indeed. Especially when cinnamon is on the roll.
Ooh, that does sound good. A little glaze on top.
Oh, yeah. That's right. They say the cream rise to the top. So Carrie's got you covered. You will be the icing when you work with Carrie. That's right. Well, that means I guess it's time for the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And don't worry, there's no bread. Well, maybe there might be bread involved.
There
I
might
guess need to
be.
mention bread, but who knows? But anyways, if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but you're in the current year of 2022 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, that's great. So if I was waking up and I was 25, how old am I now? I'm 32. So I got started when I was in my 20s. And if I could go back and be 25 right now, honestly, it would be the answer that I gave you in a question before of saying no, setting those boundaries. And when it came to like growing, leveraging marketing strategies and leveraging fastest growing platform. What is that fastest growing platform right now? Honestly, right now it's TikTok. So, to answer it like right now, it would be starting that TikTok channel, creating content that was genuinely, authentically me, have fun while I was doing it, not give a flying rat's behind what people thought about me, and instead really focus on who are those people that I'm blessing, right? How can I bless those people that are watching me through the screen, even in just a 7-second video? What is my intention of that video? Is it to make them laugh? Is it to make them cry? Is it to, help them dig deep into whatever passion, um, that dream or desire that they have, right? And it would be really, taking these skill sets that I've developed and doing it faster, right? Because I was so hesitant, like for so long. I got started early. I was young. I was young mom, young in general. And I had a lot of growing up to do. I've done a lot of growing up over the last, I guess, 7 years, 7, 8, almost 9 years, since starting in entrepreneurship in general. And just having the wisdom that I have now to be able to go back and, not care what people think, say no, not do things out of obligation, but do the things that I want to do because I want to do them, and having fun while doing it, not sweating the small stuff, trusting that things are going to work out, and just showing up genuinely, authentically me, because there's no better person for my people than my genuine, authentic self.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. And don't worry, you're still young. You're far from collecting Social Security. I believe it's
I
close to
know.
70 now, so don't worry.
When my husband almost died last year, I joke with him that he aged me 10 years. He really did. I had no, like, I look at pictures like from even just a year ago, like no crow's feet, none of that stuff. man, those 8 weeks, I tell you what, Dom, it completely transformed me, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. And, you know, there was a lot of good that came from it as well. Um, in just how he and I treat each other, how we treat our children, the dynamic in our home, because we've learned firsthand that life can change in an instant. And so, what are you doing with the time that you have, the time that you've been blessed with now? Because that's what matters.
Yep, that's right indeed. Life can change in an instant. That's right. She became a cougar in 8 weeks, y'all. That's right indeed.
Oh.
You're probably mad at that visual now.
You know what? If I'm a sexy cougar, I'm okay with it.
A lot of cougars are, so hey, it's all good. And still young to boot. Still freaking young to boot. That's right. The dyslexic see 23 instead of 32, so definitely, you're good. You're all good. That's right indeed. And for those who've enjoyed the good conversation and need to find out more about you and your lovely business and all the wonderful stuff that you're doing now and in the future, what's the best way for folks to do so?
So you can go to yougotthisgirlbook.com. Over there, you can pick up my book. And then on social media, search Cari Higham or Whit and Cari Higham. My husband's name is Whit. It's actually Whitney, but he goes by Whit because, you know, when he was born, Whitney Houston wasn't quite a thing. Whit was primarily, from what his parents knew, a boy's name. And then all of a sudden Whitney Houston became good. And so he shortened his name to Whit so that people wouldn't, you know, be calling him Whitney, but it's Whit and Cari Higham on social media. You can search us up and connect with us there.
Oh yeah, that's right indeed. Was that Walt Whitney I'm thinking? The poet?
Was it? Yeah. Or Walt Whit, was that Whitman?
Oh, Walt Whitman, there we go.
Yeah, that was Walt
Whitman.
Whitman. That's
Okay,
right.
Whitman, there we go, Whitman. Okay.
Yep.
Ah, yeah, that's right indeed. They're like, yeah, so let it whip. Wait, it's wit, because I'm witty. Please tell me he said that once. I know he's got at least said it once. At least. He's a dad. He has to use that dad joke at least once.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? He actually has his own hashtag that our students, friends, colleagues have all given him, and it's hashtag everybody needs a wit. So even if you just search the hashtag everybody needs a wit, he'll pop up. But I'll tell you what, he's my saving grace. I wouldn't be Cari Higham. I wouldn't have been able to write this book. I wouldn't have, honestly, I don't think that I would be the entrepreneur or the woman that I am today without having him, you know, by my side, raising our kids, building this business together. So
That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. You love to see it, folks. You love to see it. So follow Whit and Cari Alt. I'm going to put the link to their wonderful website in the show notes for you to click it, check it out like a library book. Check it out like 37 library books for no reason. Tell your friends, family, cat, penguin, and camels about it. Indeed, because she's probably going to be the first one to recruit a camel to the wonderful company or help our wonderful clients recruit some camels to their company. I'm telling
with the
you.
help of chloroform.
There we go. That's right. Chloroform Cari. That's right. Let me stop.
Whoa.
She's like, no, don't give me that nickname. It's got a stick. No.
I was about to say, oh no, everybody's gonna know me as that.
So how'd you really recruit all these people? Well, you know, just put a little stuff on a napkin and, you know, put it in their mouth and make them lean on the pen and they just wake up and they're a business owner. It's perfect. It works. It's seamless. All they saw was just some nice high heel shoes when they woke up. It was crazy. Oh,
Oh, this has been fun.
man. So any parting words before we close up shop?
You know what? Just that, anybody who's watching, if maybe you're an entrepreneur right now, you're trying to grow a business, maybe, you have an idea of something that you want to start. I say go for it. I made a lot of mistakes. And like I said before, I don't look at those mistakes as failures, because every single one, even though it may have been a setback or something that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done that differently, it made me the entrepreneur, the businesswoman that I am today. And so I just say, go for it. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just, go after whatever it is that, is calling to you right now. Because like we've said so many times on this show tonight, time is fleeting. And I don't know about you, Dom, but when I'm, about to kick it over in my grave, and I want to be able to say, I did it, instead of saying, oh, I wish I had done it. I don't want there to be any, oh, I wish I had done this. I want it to be like, man, I did it.
Thanks a bunch for tuning in and setting aside some of your time to listen to this wonderful podcast, Going North. If you really enjoyed what you heard, do me a solid and share this with your network and someone that you care about that would get something out of it too. And be sure to subscribe to hear more, and heck, even check out the backlog if you would like, because there are hundreds of episodes to choose from, and they just keep getting better and not butter.